What up, JP Nation? It's your boy JP. All this hype train, oh my goodness gracious, of Harden and Embiid. Oh my God, they are like Shaq and Kobe. Oh my God, they are Magic and Kareem. Please pump the brakes, please. Woof, it's only been 2 games. 2 games. Pump the brakes, okay? Let me go, before I get into my thoughts about Harden and Embiid and the 76ers, my question is, how far do you think Harden and Embiid could go with this 76ers team? Could they make it, to the Eastern Conference Finals? Could they make it to the finals? Could they win a championship? Please comment down below and tell me your thoughts on how far they will go. Make sure you subscribe to It's Just JP for more basketball content. Click the notification bell. You will know when my next reaction or video is. More reaction videos are coming along the way. Thank you all so much for the love and support you have given towards my channel. We are on our way to 1,500 subs. So please subscribe down below so you don't miss any basketball content. Check out my previous content, including the worst slam dunk contest of all time. And also, is Jokić winning MVP this season here? So let's go ahead and start off with the beginnings of, the Harden and Embiid. So it all started with a trade that happened on that wonderful Thursday, where we saw the big news, where we saw Ben Simmons getting dealt with to the Brooklyn Nets, along with Seth Curry and Andre Drummond, and then the 76ers getting James Harden. So that was a big trade, coming in, and everybody's been kind of just fighting on whose side would you take, who won the trade. And for the people saying the 76ers won the trade because they got James Harden and everything, they expect James Harden to be James Harden, and he wanted to come to Philly. This is his number one choice. He was disgruntled in Brooklyn because of Kyrie Irving's situation, and the offense he didn't agree with because he wanted to be an ISO type of thing, while Kevin Durant and Steve Nash is trying to make it a free flowing offense. It just felt like he just didn't want to be there. Just the antics that he was doing. Also, he wasn't healthy. He was gaining weight, and he was just trying to force himself out of there. So, yeah, so that was just an interesting scenario in that, and James Harden probably, like in his mind, he wants to win a championship, but he wants to win it somewhere else. He just doesn't think he could win it with KD and Kyrie, so he left to go to the 76ers in the trade and everything. And when you saw him coming off the plane, reunited with his best friend Daryl Morey, he's really happy. You saw like he slimmed down, so it looked like he put on a bodysuit and, took the bodysuit off as soon as he got to practice and slimmed down really well. So, shout out to the before and after pictures right there of James Harden. So, and you seen just the camaraderie. Embiid was excited having James Harden. He really wanted Ben Simmons out of there for a while. You could just tell the way he'd been trolling, the way he was talking about Ben Simmons in his interviews. And finally, again, Harden, and they just seems like they just nonstop, just a nonstop thing. So, and everybody's just like making all these comparisons like, oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait. They probably gonna win a championship with this team or this and that. So I was like, okay, just pump the brakes. Let's just see how they do and everything. So when you look at that first game, the 76ers versus the T-Wolves, pretty much they showed out. They really showed out that game. If you just go back to that game and everything, Embiid and Harden really showed out, and they could really, you could see they could really playing well together. I was wrong. I admit I was wrong, because I didn't think that Embiid would like the way James Harden would play in terms of the pick and roll and all that. I know he's still going to get his touches and everything, but I just didn't think it would be a good fit. But I was wrong, because they are actually doing really well in terms of just, doing the pick and roll. And, Embiid's getting easier touches. He's getting more open, shots too as well, because Harden's right there. And Harden, going back into, also, he's facilitating, but also he's going back to, scoring that basketball and being able to, control that offense, and both, just scoring that basketball like crazy, against the T-Wolves. And the T-Wolves are an all right team, with Russell and Towns and Anthony Edwards. And sometimes they might have games where they play really good, but they don't play really good on some of the games though. But I mean, they really kind of showed out though. They really kind of showed out a good bit, against, against the T-Wolves. But yeah, that was like the first like time to see that, Harden was just really showing out and was just on fire, like getting into his free throws along with Embiid too as well. So it was pretty much a blowout at that point, with both of them playing. So, and the funny thing about it was just the interview, just a sidetrack on it right there, is the way Embiid was handling that water before Harden sat down. And if you just look at the meme of Harden just looking at Embiid, oh my God, it's just so hilarious. But Harden finished with 27 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds in his debut. He really did shine, and it just seems like everybody think that Harden is the answer to Philadelphia, and he's healthy too as well. So it was like, okay, so they did pretty good in their debut together, which I was impressed. And then we go to the next game against the Knicks. I mean, I didn't really expect a lot, though, because the Knicks is not a great team. At the beginning of the season, I thought the Knicks would be a good team, but it just seems like they don't know what they're doing, and the old school type of coach is not working for them. Randall's not being the superstar that he is. There's high expectations, and they're just not living up to it. So it's just a mess in New York though, and pretty much like the Knicks held on, but the 76ers was still doing their thing no matter what. You just look at that box score right there. Harden, had 29 points, had 16 assists, 10 rebounds. Like, he was rebounding, he's assisting the ball, facilitating. Embiid, 37 points, 7 out of 18 of field goals, 23 out of 27 on free throws. Like, he's just getting so much easier on the free throws too as well. He grabbed 7 rebounds. So, I mean, Harden pretty much was doing everything like effectively and everything. That's an effective triple-double when you look at it too as well. And the one person I want to give a shout out to as part of the Philly Big Three is Maxey. I knew Philly didn't want to trade Maxey, but I know a lot of teams wanted Maxey because he brings so much value, and you see the value that he brings to the 76ers, and he's been playing phenomenal the past 2 games. He's been playing good all season. He's running a lot faster. He's able to still be aggressive and still get his points and everything. If you just look at the plus and minus, he's a plus those past 2 games with the 76ers. 21 points against the Knicks, 7 rebounds, 3 out of 5 3-point shooting. Like, Maxey, if he could stay consistent, is definitely going to be another problem with the 76ers, along with Harden and Embiid. But Maxey is just really playing his role, and playing 37 minutes, young guy too. So that's going to be really interesting in itself. So I do like these past 2 games, but we have to slow it down. That's the problem, is that we get too excited of Harden and Embiid playing together these 2 games. They are winnable games. This is the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks, okay? Like, they are winnable games, okay? So, just pump the brakes just a little bit, please. Just a little bit. And, we'd be good, right? We'd be good. Don't compare them to Shaq and Kobe. Like, they won 3 straight championships, okay? Like, 3 straight championships. They lost to San Antonio that one year, but they still won championships. So pump the brakes on that. Pump the brakes on calling them Magic and Kareem. Like, Jesus, goodness gracious. Like, just calm down, okay? They got to win the championship, okay? Harden is known as not a great player in the playoffs. You could look at the resume. You can see he's not great in the playoffs. Like he's great in the playoffs, but he's not going to come in clutch in the playoffs is what I'm trying to say. Same with Embiid. Embiid struggled in the playoffs too as well. Neither of them haven't won a championship. Harden made an NBA Finals appearance when he was at OKC with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, and he was the third option, okay? So just pump the brakes on these comparisons now. Just pump the brakes. But these two games, they're not testable games. I'm not really looking for. I just knew this was going to happen. I'm really interested on, the Knicks. That I feel like they're going to beat the Knicks tomorrow night. That's just easy in itself. Cavaliers, be an interesting test though. Darius Garland's not back, so I'm not really kind of like, it's not really like a testing game and all that. So I think they'll probably be successful against the Cleveland Cavaliers on March the 4th. I'm really interested in Saturday, March the 5th. The 76ers versus the Miami Heat. That's going to be the game I'm going to watch and be like, okay, let's see what they got right here. Because the Heat, Bam, Kyle, Jimmy, PJ Tucker. That defense they have in Miami is really good. We've seen what they did to the Bulls tonight, okay? We've seen what they did to the Bulls tonight, the Heat did. So I'm really interested in seeing that. And if the Heat team can stay healthy, that's the thing about the Heat, if they can stay healthy. Because now you're going to be like, okay, Bam is going to be playing Embiid. It's going to be a tough matchup for Embiid. Even though Bam, because Bam is a great defensive player. And, you got a couple pieces. So it's like, you could put Jimmy right on Harden, make Harden kind of hard on him. So that you got to see Maxey got to shine. So this one is going to be a testable game right here when you look at it. So I'm looking forward to that. Then they got the Bulls on March the 7th. Bulls kind of been struggling a little bit as of late, though, but they're still a good team. So that's going to be a test. The Nets on March the 10th, especially if KD can come back. And then you got Kyrie Irving playing away games. So this is in the 76ers house here. So that's going to be a tough game in itself. And then, easy against the Magic. I'm not worried about the Magic. And then you got the Nuggets with Jokić and, Michael Porter Jr. is coming back, so that's going to be a test right there in itself too. Two of the best bigs in the league going at each other. I just say just pump the brakes a little bit on the comparisons and just let them play and just see how they do. In terms of, the playoffs and everything, how far do I think they could get into the playoffs? One thing I'm concerned about with the 76ers is a couple of things. One, health, because Embiid, as great as he is, cannot stay healthy. He's doing a pretty good job staying healthy this year, but if he could just stay healthy, and then that would be great. Durability is just a question for Embiid. Same thing with Harden too as well, with the hamstring. So hopefully Harden can stay healthy. Number two, I think, and number two is like, okay, everything is like really good. What happens when things get really bad? How is chemistry going to work? What happens when you lose a game? What happens when, you lose consistently? So the chemistry, I always have questions about the chemistry with Harden, because we've seen on Harden's teams how like at first it's exciting, everything is flowing really well, and then all of a sudden everything just, turns, and like Harden is just disgruntled or frustrated and stuff. So that's going to be interesting. So what happens when the patience run a little bit thin? Is Harden going to be turning on Embiid and, be disgruntled, not want to come to games or be late for games or, be frustrated with Embiid's type of play? That right there is another one that I'm just worried about the 76ers in terms of the chemistry. Yeah, of course you could say they have great chemistry just because they played 2 games and they did phenomenal, okay? But what happens just deep in the playoffs? What happens when they lose consistently or anything? What happens? Just what happens, when chemistry, falters? So that's going to be another one. And number 3, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers, everybody, we had him as a top 15 coach of all time on the NBA 75 years, which is a questionable type of decision. But, how well could he coach? How well could he manage the rotations and the bench and everything? Because he got pieces. So we would need to see him coach his best coaching. We need to see that. We still need to see that from Doc Rivers. I feel like not only you got Harden's legacy, not only you have Embiid's legacy in terms of winning the championship, but also you all having a legacy of Doc Rivers. If Doc Rivers cannot pull this off, I think that, that legacy is just in question as is Doc Rivers really a top 15 coach of all time? Is Doc Rivers a great coach? That right there, because we seen the falter last year in terms of his coaching. It wasn't just Ben Simmons. It was his coaching too as well. So this one, it's just going to be really interesting. And I just hope that Doc Rivers can, pull this off and coach his behind off. Those are my 3 things about the 76ers. I hope that they could make it into the Eastern Conference Finals. That could be the expectation, at least I have. I don't think they can make it to the finals because I don't think they're better than Miami. I don't think they're better. If Milwaukee can figure it out, I don't think they're better than Milwaukee. It's going to be really going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting, with the 76ers. So definitely comment down your thoughts on how far you think they can make it in the playoffs and what you think of the Harden Embiid comparison to Kobe, Shaq, and Magic and Kareem, and how far you think they could do, how well they could coexist together. Anything you have about Harden and Embiid, comment down below. Subscribe to It's Just JP for more basketball content. Check out the other reaction videos and previous content I posted up. Click the notification bell. You would know when my next upload is. Make sure you subscribe, share, like this video too as well. On the way to 1,500 subs. Thank you all so much for the love and support. I'll be on the Twitter spaces a lot with other people to talk NBA, especially my Boston Celtics too as well. Having a great space tonight with them talking about the improvement that they have and what's going to be the long road ahead for the Boston Celtics. So please check out, Twitter spaces and check out, topics from different content creators. And, thank you all so much for listening and tuning in. God bless each and every one of y'all. Good night.